What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so let's talk about this. So this is, of course, the NBA offseason, so there's no actual games to talk about. So much of the recent discord has been around free agency, which, you know, I believe that these players cannot officially, players in their new respective teams, they cannot officially sign until I think it's July the 6th. But for all intents and purposes, most of the significant free agency speculation is over. Still a few players who haven't officially signed with teams, but a lot of the talk has revolved around, from what I could see, two players, Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James. And one is around whether or not Giannis will demand a trade from the Bucks. The other one is whether LeBron James will, I don't want to say force, but he and the Lakers and another destination will come to an agreement that he will move to another team. I think with Giannis, there's absolutely no chance whatsoever. I would give it a 99.99% chance that he stays with the Bucks. I think a lot of this stuff is just poppycock. It's just nonsense that he's going to want to demand a trade. With LeBron, I think it's about a 90% chance that he stays a Laker. But there's a part of me that also understands that there's a part of the NBA that's a business, and there's also some WWE elements there. Okay, I'll get into that in a moment. But they were talking about the possibility of LeBron James being traded to another team, and Brian Windhorst shifted his position a little bit from Sunday. When this first popped up as a possibility back on Sunday, Brian Windhorst was completely against the idea that LeBron be traded. There was no chance whatsoever. Now, as he puts it, he opens the door a little bit, but still not convinced it's a real, true possibility, but he opens the door.
When the idea of a trade came up, I slammed the door on it and said, first off, LeBron wants to be a Laker. If he didn't want to be a Laker, he opted out. He has a no-trade clause, everything that Bontemps just said. Over the last 3 days, I have unlocked the door. I wouldn't say that I'm opening the door. I would just say I've unlocked the door. The door I slammed and locked on Sunday, I'm not 100% sure. And that is because my conversations over the last 3 days have crystallized that the Lakers are essentially viewing LeBron as an expiring contract. And that may sound like a toss-off statement, but that's not insignificant. LeBron has never been an expiring contract, quite literally. Never in his 23-year career, over the 9 contracts he's signed, over all the different teams he's been on, he's never been on the last year of his contract. He's never been 40 years old. He's never not been the franchise player on his team. The Lakers and LeBron, whoever wants to spin their side of the story, I'm not sure what happened, but the Lakers and LeBron did not have substantive discussions about extending his contract, which every team LeBron's been on for 20-something years has wanted to have substantive conversations about extending his contract. And what happens to expiring contracts in the NBA? They're viewed as trade pieces. So, for all those reasons, you know, the money, the fact that LeBron and Luka are still a very formidable duo, the fact that the Lakers are not done with their offseason, the fact that trading him is crazy, the fact that this is being built around Luka and they've got to maintain their cap sheet and all of those things, everything that makes sense. But I'm just unlocking the door because I'm not as convinced as before of its impossibility.
I have to apologize. I misquoted him. I said that he opened the door. He said he unlocked the door, but still haven't opened the door of the possibility. Now, all the signs are there that he's not going to get traded. First of all, he has a no trade clause, which in itself makes it very impossible, well, makes it very difficult for a trade to go through with him, the organization, and the team of his preferred destination. It kind of makes things very marginal, and it makes it difficult for the team to push the button to trade him because the options are so limited. Secondly, there was just a report that came out maybe 3 or 4 days ago that interest in LeBron James is minimal throughout the league, and that's just an indication of reality. I don't care how much the media likes to fawn over this guy. He's still a 40-year-old basketball player with diminished skills compared to what he was in his prime. And you don't want to blow up your team for a guy that is probably not going to play any more than 2 more years max. You're just not going to do that. It just doesn't make any sense, right? So for those reasons, plus the $53 million option. I mean, the money it doesn't make any sense, right? So that's why 90% of me feel like this is not going to happen. But the only reason why I kind of opened the door a little bit in my mind, or as Brian Windhorst put it, unlock the door, is for a couple of reasons. Oh, and plus also LeBron James has made it clear, forgot to say this, that LA is his home. And LA is a good fit for him business-wise. I know Laker fans don't like his ass, and I don't blame you. But I'm talking about from his position. Financially, it's just, you know what I'm saying? One of the reasons why he went to LA is because of the numerous business possibilities for LeBron James, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, one of the reasons why I think it's more of a possibility than before, the Lakers are under new management. And from what I could tell, this new owner, I know they say that Jenny Buss will still be running the team from a day-to-day basis, but the owner's the owner, okay? This guy is all about winning. And when you look at the Dodgers organization, they have been one of the most well-run organizations, I would say maybe the most well-run organization. And whenever they have any piece, any part of that team that even remotely seems to be a trouble or may cause issues with the organization, they'll trade their ass, right? So that's one part. This isn't Jenny Buss, you know. The new owner is not going to sit beside LeBron and snuggle with him or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And also, how can I say this? The NBA, to a certain extent, I don't want to say it's rigged, right? I don't want to say that. But if you believe that the Lakers and the Mavericks were conversing with one another secretly, and the commissioner had no knowledge of this, I'm not talking about LeBron, But if you think that those two teams were talking to one another and the owner had no idea, excuse me, the commissioner of basketball had no idea that they were secretly thinking about trading Luka to the Lakers. I mean, there's other objectives at play here. Like that, Luka ensures that there is a significant star in a large market for the next 10 years because we all know LeBron James is getting ready to retire. And I said at the time, I didn't do a video about it, but I said at the time that if Cooper Flag is in the 2025 NBA draft or even the 2026, more than likely they're going to have Cooper Flag go to Dallas because they're going to be Mavericks fans that are going to be pissed off. But Cooper, even though he's not quite the talent that LeBron James is, if you build talent on that team or you have some talent already there, that's going to help have that team be a contender from the get-go. And it fills let's be honest, the white hope savior, you know what I'm saying, that Dallas had. And that's exactly what happened, right? So when you look at it from a storyline perspective, right? I'm looking at it strictly from a storyline perspective. Because let's not forget, Adam Silver is a marketing guy. He looks at it differently. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, because I think David Stern was a far better commissioner than Adam Silver. But he does look at these things differently. And when I look at it, you know, it does kind of make some sense for LeBron to go to the Golden State Warriors or go back to Cleveland in some capacity, go back home. Or I know one of the favorites is somehow he goes to Dallas and they form a super team, right? Now, normally it wouldn't make any sense because most teams would have to drain their assets to get this guy. But financially, I think there's there's a package where if the Lakers got, I think it was Klay Thompson, if they had got, I think it was Klay Thompson, I forgot some of the other players, man. But basically it was Klay Thompson and a bunch of their other good role players and some other things, other incentives in the package, and it would pretty much equal up to what you would get if they traded LeBron and Bronny together, right? Because I'm pretty sure if they traded LeBron, Bronny's got to be part of the package. Not saying it's going to happen, but you never know now. After the Luka trade, you never know what can happen, man. And also, Brian Windhorst makes a good point. He said this is the first time that a LeBron James and a team that he's a part of have not really engaged in any sort of conversation. They haven't engaged in any type of negotiation as far as with his contract. So he's never let it go on this far to the point where he's the last year in this expiring contract. And as he stated, business-wise, historically, teams include expiring contracts when it comes to trades. So I look at it like this. I think that, if anything, there's a stronger possibility of LeBron James being traded either during this offseason or before the trade deadline in this upcoming season. If it's going to happen. I still think it's not going to happen, but I put it like this. I think there's a much stronger chance of LeBron being traded than Giannis. Giannis isn't going anywhere. This with the Giannis shit, that's just the media going full blitzkrieg. just trying to have something to talk about. It's just I've never seen anything before like in my life. Giannis could come out and say I have no interest in being traded, and the media say, "Well, my sources say otherwise." It's just ridiculous at this point. But anyway, that's how I look at it, man. I think it's a small possibility still, but you know, it's a possibility. LeBron might get traded, maybe. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. What you guys think?